You pull into your parents' driveway for Sunday lunch, same as always. The lawn's a bit longer than your dad used to keep it. There's a stack of mail on the hall table that looks like it's been growing for weeks. Lunch is soup again, and halfway through, the phone rings, and your mom takes it in the other room and comes back quieter. None of those things is proof of anything, but together, they might be the only warning you get, because parents who are struggling with money almost never say so. They protect you from it. I'm Nathan, and this video walks through one ordinary visit and the 10 quiet signs worth noticing along the way, then exactly what to do in the week afterwards if you counted more than a couple. Noticing early is the whole game. Let's walk in. Sign 1 is on the way to the front door. Deferred maintenance visible from the driveway, the gutter that's been sagging since spring, the porch step your dad would have re-nailed inside 20 minutes 5 years ago, the Eva's trough repair that never happened. Small jobs that used to disappear on a Saturday now said half done or not done. Your father ran a household for 40 years. This is not carelessness, it is the calculation someone does when money has become tight. The roof repair estimate gets a callback, and the caller does not book the job. Notice it, don't remark on it. Walk in. Sign 2 is on the hall table. The stack of unopened mail. Look at the envelopes without touching them. Bank statements still sealed. Utility envelopes with plastic windows. And, if any are visible, the specific envelopes with red text and a colored stripe across the corner, which are how Canadian utilities and telecoms print final notice letters so they can be spotted at a glance. A pile of ordinary mail is nothing. A pile with red-cornered envelopes in it is a specific problem being avoided, not solved. Sign 3 you notice on the way to the kitchen. The house is a bit cooler than it used to be. The daily newspaper is gone from the counter, not switched to digital, just gone. The cable box has a different, cheaper logo on it. Little juggling of the monthly bills, heat down 2 degrees, subscriptions cut, one by one, the small services rearranged to make the fixed budget work. These are not moral failings. They are the moves anyone makes when the monthly maths stops adding up quietly and they leave visible traces around a house. Sign 4 is in the kitchen itself. The pantry is thinner than it used to be, the fridge has fewer items in it, and the items that are there lean towards soup, pasta, rice, and store-brand tea. The freezer that used to hold 3 packs of chicken has 1. You might notice a bag from a grocery store your parents didn't shop at 2 years ago, a discount chain in a plaza across town. This is the sign that hurts the most to see, because it means the household budget has crossed from squeezing the extras to reshaping the meals, and it is the sign most parents work hardest to hide. Do not comment on it, notice it. Sign 5 arrives during lunch. The phone rings, your mom looks at the screen, hesitates, then takes it in the other room, and comes back quieter than she left. It might be nothing. But one pattern is worth naming carefully. Seniors are targeted by pressure calls and manufactured urgency more than any other age group in Canada. And the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre's data show that Canadians 60 and over lose on average about $21,000 per reported fraud incident. A number that tells you something specific. What gets through to a senior is usually the sustained, patient kind of contact that turns a stranger into a friend. If a name has recently entered your parents' conversation who wasn't there 6 months ago, a new investment person, a new online acquaintance, a helpful new caller from a bank, that's the phone call worth being curious about. Sign 6 comes up over dessert, unusual generosity, a new payment to one sibling, or a new small loan to an acquaintance mentioned in passing. Your parents have every right to give money to whoever they choose. That is not the point. The point is the pattern change. A household that never talked about lending money to friends is now mentioning it lightly. And a household that split help evenly among 3 kids is now sending disproportionately to 1. Sometimes this is fine in family and none of your business. Sometimes it is one sibling in trouble who is not asking the other 2 siblings for input. And sometimes it is the same phenomenon as sign 5 with a face and a name. Note it. You are not the police. Sign 7 is in the bathroom cabinet on the way past. Prescription bottles that should have been refilled are stretched. Pills counted, doses spaced. An insurance renewal notice on the counter, unopened, that lapsed 3 weeks ago. Your parents will not tell you they cut a medication in half to make the bottle last, but the pharmacist would. The bathroom cabinet is one of the last honest rooms in a house. Sign 8. You see if you happen past the desk in the corner. Confusion where there used to be order. Duplicate payments on the same credit card statement. Statements from an account they do not remember opening. A checkbook with several pages torn out and no matching entries in the register. Your father, who balanced a checkbook for 4 decades, would not have missed these. This sign is worth noticing even if the household finances turn out to be fine, because confusion at the desk is often the earliest signal of a cognitive change that has nothing to do with money at all, and it is a conversation worth taking gently to the family doctor before it is a crisis. Sign 9 sits on the counter, brochure-shaped. A credit card offer with your dad's name on it that is not from his usual bank. A pamphlet for a reverse mortgage, a line of credit application, half filled in. New borrowing on retirement income is not always wrong, but new borrowing that arrives in the house through cold mail or unsolicited pamphlets is a pattern worth understanding because the products most aggressively marketed to house rich, cash poor seniors are usually the most expensive ones on the market. Sign 10 is the goodbye at the door. You mentioned, gently, that the mail looked like it was piling up, and your mom says the sentence that will decide the rest of your week, "Oh, we're fine, don't worry about us." Delivered with a smile, meant lovingly, entirely designed to close the subject. That deflection is the sign, and it is the strongest one on this list, because it is the shield the other 9 signs are hiding behind. Parents protect their children from their money worries almost by reflex. If you asked 100 Canadian retirees whether they'd tell their adult kids about a genuine shortfall, most would say yes, and most would not. The deflection line is how yes converts to no in real conversation. Drive home. Count the signs. 1 or 2 could be an ordinary Sunday. 4 or more, distributed across the visit, is a pattern worth responding to before another season passes. And keep one thing in mind. On the drive, every parent in the country has bad weeks, tired weekends, and small deferred jobs. What you are looking for is not a bad afternoon. It is the shape of a life quietly reorganizing around less money. That shape is spread across rooms, across habits, across the small choices your parents used to make automatically. Your mother deciding not to buy the good tea this week is not a sign. Your mother having quietly stopped buying the good tea 3 months ago is. Trust the pattern, not any one moment. Here's what you do in the 7 days after a visit like that. Day 1, call one sibling, not all of them, and not the one in sign 6, if there was a sign 6, and describe what you saw without interpretation. Just the pile of mail, the cooler house, the phone call. Compare notes. Some of what you saw, they will already have noticed, some they will have missed, and the two of you together assemble a truer picture than either alone. Day 2 or 3, phone your parents, open the conversation with one observation and one question. Never an audit and never a list. I noticed the Eva's trough looks like it needs a repair. Is there someone you'd like me to call, or is it already handled? Is one observation and one question. We need to have a proper look at your finances is an audit, and the door closes before you finish the sentence. I've told you before to sit down and ask your parents how the numbers actually look. This video is what to do when you can't wait for the answer. Day 4, offer help with one specific task, not with everything. Sort the mail together at their kitchen table, over coffee. You are not taking over the finances. You are opening the envelopes side by side. Your father ran a household for 40 years. This isn't about taking over. It's about noticing what has changed and being useful to the person he still is. The register the whole week should sit in is that register, competent adult, helping competent adult, not adult child, managing declining parent. If sorting the mail surface is something concrete, a missed payment, a lapsed policy, a bill they did not understand, deal with that one thing that week together without expanding the conversation to everything. Everything is what closes the door. Day 5. If the phone call sign 5 rang any alarm bells, agree on a plan for suspected fraud. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre takes reports at their published number and website. The bank's fraud line takes reports of specific transactions. Report to the CAFC first for the pattern and to the bank for the money. Do this together from their kitchen table so it is their file, not yours. Day 6 belongs to the family doctor if any of the confusion signs, the duplicate payments, the missing checks, the deflection combined with visible strain pointed at more than money. Cognitive changes usually appear first in the paperwork long before anywhere else, and a GP visit is not an accusation. It is a baseline. Day 7, one practical setup conversation. Not adding your name to their accounts, adding your name to their accounts has serious traps of its own. That's a separate video. What you want instead is joint visibility, not joint ownership. Getting yourself listed with the bank as an authorized contact for information only, or set up on the online banking as a viewer. And if your parents don't have powers of attorney in place, that's a this month conversation with a lawyer, because the moment you actually need those documents is exactly the moment it becomes too late to draft them. That is one recommendation. It stands. The 7 days end with a phone call to the sibling from day 1, closing the loop on what you found, what got fixed, and what stays on the list for next month. Coordinate. The single most predictable way a well-meaning family makes a stressed parent worse is 3 siblings turning up separately with the same worried questions, each unaware the other 2 have already asked. Pick a lead child, share notes, take turns showing up. Nothing gets sorted in a single visit. This is a season of visits, done gently, done together, done with dignity. Your parents raised you to notice when someone you love needs help without being asked. This is that skill applied backwards, and it is one of the quiet, important jobs of the middle chapter of adult life